Hi friends, I'm Vidyashri. I'm starting Saurabhi's Education and Inspirational channel, and in this video I'm starting second PU syllabus. So first chapter of second PU syllabus is reproduction in organisms. So in this chapter we study totally about reproduction. So before going to discuss the actual concepts, I give you some introduction, and that introduction will give you the clear idea of the discussing concepts. In this slide you can see there are number of living organisms. So here you can see the dog, and here you can see the elephant. Here you can see the plant variety of one type, and here banana plant variety you can see, right? So to the types of living organisms we can say as biodiversity, right? Why we call biodiversity and what is biodiversity is nothing but, right, bio is living, okay, and diversity is variety. So where we can see the biodiversity, living variety, right, we can see in the environment, right? So biodiversity is all about the types of living organisms present on the earth. Okay, whenever you look the characters, of course they will show a different characters, but the life, when you think of this, they have common events, okay, and these three are the common events you can see in a life of every organism. Which are those? So here you can see the birth, which is a first event, then followed by a second event called as growth, and then the third event, which is a final event in a life, is called as death. Understood? Okay, we call these three events together as life cycle. Why we call this as a life cycle? This is all about life. That is the first reason. And the events which are occurring here are in a sequential and cyclic manner, and because of that reason we call these three events as a life cycle events. Understood? So birth is nothing but a starting point or starting event of a life. The life starts from birth of an organism. Okay, so then what happens? Then growth will occur. Okay, so very next to birth, the growth of an organism will take place, and this growth will lead to the maturity of an organism. Understood? So when an organism will grow, there will be a particular time period for the growth of an organism, and this growth in an organism leads, or it enables the organism to become mature, and the matured organism is able to reproduce. Understood? So what the reproduction and all we discuss in our upcoming videos. Understood? So what happens? So here you can say reproduction will occur in an organism if the growth will occur, and that leads to maturity of an organism. Then after what happens? When the age or aging will take place, so growth halts, and that leads to a death of an organism. Understood? So what happens? Death is the final condition or final event in a life of an organism. So when death occurs, it is the end of a life of that organism. Understood? So we have discussed regarding life cycle events, and this is helpful for the next video actually, and you have to remember these three events. Understood? So what can an organism do in its life? After birth, it can grow, and growth will lead to maturity of an organism, and matured organism is able to reproduce. And aging will lead to, or will takes a death in an organism, and that is the end of a life of that organism. Okay, so you can see these slides. This is a fetus present in a mother womb, And when we have discussed growth, we know the growth is nothing but increasing the size and mass of an organism, the development of organs, etc. And that leads to maturity of an organism and makes organism able to reproduce. Okay, and aging will lead to death of an organism where metabolism is reduced, and at the end metabolism will stop, and that leads to death. Okay, so looking into this example, we came to know that whether if you consider any of the living organisms example, we can say that whichever has took a birth, it has to die. Yes, so we can say death is a certain for every living organism. Yes, but I have one question for you. Okay, so is there any living organism that is considered as immortal? Okay, so we know the immortal meaning is, okay, immortal is nothing but which one that does not have end. Understood? Which cannot die, that we consider as immortal. Now question is this: is there any organism which is immortal? The answer is yes, there is. Which are those? So here you can see the single cell organism are nothing but unicellular organism. Right? So this is a bacteria called as E. coli. Understood? So this E. coli is a single cell organism, and this unicellular organism is called as immortal. Why this will be immortal? This is an important question. Understood? Might be asked for 2 marks. Okay? So this explanation will give you the clear idea why unicellular organisms are called as immortal organisms. So here you can see in this picture, you can see there is a one cell. This is a E. coli. Then it starts to replicate its DNA, right? Which will indicate that the division of cell is occurring. Understood? Then what happens? The elongation of the cell, the size of the cell will increase, and then septum, here you can see the formation of septum. Okay, this is a first point to divide that cell. Understood? Septum formation will occur, and finally the separation, the complete septum formation will occur, and that leads to formation of 2 cells, and then fission or division of the cell will occur, and that leads to formation of 2 new cells. Okay, so here why we are considering unicellular organisms as immortal? Because what happened, a single cell is converted into 2 new unicellular cells. The old one is continuing its life. Again, it has formed a new cell. Understood? Actually to say, in a favored condition, the unicellular organism will not die because of aging and all, but it will continue its life just by making cell division. We know cell division itself is a life in unicellular organisms. Understood? Yeah. To say frankly, all the time favorable conditions are not available. Okay, but scientifically, if you consider, if the favorable conditions are available, unicellular organisms will not die and aging will not occur, but just cell division will occur, and the life will be continued as a new cell. And because of this reason, we consider unicellular organisms as an immortal one. Understood? Yes. So now, you can say that whichever the organism is, it can live for a particular period of time. Understood? For particular time, it can live. Okay? You can say between the birth and the death, there is a particular period where the organism can live. Yes? So that time period or that period is called as lifespan. The word itself is telling life. We know the meaning of life. It is living. Okay. And span, if you consider, it is nothing but period. Understood? So together you can say that lifespan is nothing but living period of an organism. Understood? So now tell me the definition. It's nothing but period from birth to natural death of an organism is called as lifespan. Understood? So there is a condition here, that is natural death. Yeah. So here we consider lifespan for a particular species. Understood? Not only an individual we are considering the whole species. Understood? Right? So here you can see the features of lifespan. Yes. So there are two important features for a lifespan. The first point is it varies from one group to another group of organisms. That means we know the meaning of lifespan. It's a period from birth to natural death. Or you can say it's a living period for an organism. Understood? So this living period for one group to another group is different. Yes? So whatever the examples I will show you, those will give you the clear idea. Okay? The second important feature is lifespan is not influenced by size of an organism, but it is influenced by physiology of an organism. Understood? So these examples will give you the clear idea. Okay? In this example, you can see crow versus parrot. Okay? So this is a crow and this is a parrot. So now think of this. Okay, think of this. So which is greater in size? Crow is greater in size. Okay, size wise if you consider, this crow is greater in size and parrot is lesser in size. Okay, but when you think of their lifespan, okay, so lifespan for crow is 15 years. Yes, and for parrot it's wondering, really it is 140 years. Maximum lifespan for parrot is 150 years. Understood? Okay, so compare with this, we can remember the features of lifespan. The first point is what? The lifespan varies from one group to another group. Understood? So crow is a one group and this parrot is another group. Understood? So here one group of living organism is having a different lifespan compared with the another group. Okay. The second feature is what? The size of an organism does not influence lifespan of that organism. Yes. Here you can see even though crow is in a greater size, but the lifespan is less for it. Understood? Yes. One more example I will show you and that will give you a very clear idea about the features of lifespan. So example 2 is elephant versus tortoise. This is an elephant you can see here and this is a tortoise you can see here. Right? Which is greater in size? Of course the elephant. But which is greater in lifespan? That will be tortoise. Why? It can live nearly 100 to 150 years. Yes, lifespan for tortoise is 150 years. But for elephant, it is 48 years. The lifespan varies from species to species. In general, average if we consider, that is 48 years for elephant. Understood? So looking into this, we can say size does not influence lifespan of an organism. That's the first point. Lifespan varies from one group of organisms to another is the second point. Understood? To say it varies even individual to individual, but we considering here the particular species. Okay, right. So these are the some more examples. Okay, so here you can see the name of the organism in this table, and you can see the lifespan, and these examples are given in your NCERT syllabus. Okay, go through these examples, and these might be asked for NEET questions. Okay, right. So I have one question for you, right? We have seen many organisms. We discussed the events which is present in a life. Okay, we have discussed that as a life cycle. Okay, so birth is a starting point, then growth is between birth and death is the end of a life. My question is, if organisms die but still we can see their species on the earth, now how this may possible? Yes, this question has to come for our mind, and we know the answer. So there is a process called as reproduction, and that reproduction process enabling the organism to produce their own offsprings. Yes, what the reproduction is and what the significance this is having, all this we discuss in next video. Okay, and regarding whatever we have discussed, okay, I have given questions. Okay, this is theory questions, and you can go through these questions. You may try to answer these. Okay, and because of that, if you try, you will get a clear, you will get a perfection in this. Okay, and these are NEET questions regarding whichever the concepts I have discussed in this video. Okay, go through these questions, try to solve these questions, and you will get the answer in next video. Yes, so I hope you understood the class, and if you understood, like and share the video and subscribe my channel. Thank you.